Hello all, this is Cody again. I'm just going to uh, do another video in the music composition course series. I wanted to remind you all that this is an intro course to composition. If you wanted more, go to I'm going to have an advanced or full course in composition coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. That'll be where most of some other stuff that I'm going to give you is going to be posted. Um, I wanted to do a really quick explanation of what you will need for the course, and then we'll go into what's called rhythm, the first section. What you will need for this course is access to staff paper. If you don't have access to staff paper, it's provided in the resource section if you need it. Um, Access to a computer for computer notation. We will be putting our penciled scores in um, Finale or MuseScore. MuseScore is also available in the link is available in the resources section. You're going to need a pencil or erasable pen for practice exercises. So those are all the things that you need. By the way, MuseScore is free. It's not a paid program. It's free. Just go to musescore.org and you'll be able to download it on your computer for Windows or for Mac, and then you'll be good. Okay? So the first section that we will discuss today is elements of music, rhythm. What is rhythm? Rhythm is the placing of what are called beats in a piece of music. It's also described as any regular recurring motion. It aligns with meter, that's a different part of it, a different way to say it, and a different term. It is also described as the pulse of music. So the general definition of rhythm is a regular recurring pulse of music, a motion that you do when you create music. It's like a building block, a bedrock that you use to dance to, basically, or to have a beat to. That's basically what it is. Rhythm equals beat. You could just put that in if you're taking notes. The next thing, rhythm is part of meter, like I just said. Meter is actually more related to time signatures like 4/4, 3/4, 2/4, 6/8, 9/8. For more information on what these things mean, I can go into a little bit of detail on the next slide. But if you want the big details, um, make sure you're enrolled in my theory course uh, for beginners. That course will actually give you more in-depth on what these time signatures mean if you don't already know them. Part of rhythm and meter is notated in different notes. Whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, 32nds, 64ths, double whole notes, also known as brevs, are the many different types of notes that will be what one uses to compose rhythm. So when you're composing, you have all these different notes that are in the vast universe of music that you use to compose rhythmic pulses, the rhythmic um, recurring motion that we talked about. And so, going to the next slide, there's an examples of rhythm here, and I have quite a few measures of different rhythms of each measure. The first one, we're in 4/4. That means 4 beats per measure, and the bottom number is the number of the note that gets the beat. Quarter note is always denoted by 4. Eighth note is always denoted by 8. 16 is always denoting the 16th note getting the beat. This is the bottom number. Top number is the number of those valued notes that the bottom number specifies in one measure. So if you've got 3/16, that means the 16th notes get the beat, and 3 of those are what make up a single measure of music. So in this example, we're in 4/4, so 4 quarter notes equal the measure, and it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just 4 of those quarter notes equals one measure. The second measure in 4/4 time is 2 half notes. Now when you have half notes are double the length of quarter notes. So it'd be 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Each note has 2 counts. And the accent usually falls on 1 and 3 in 4/4 time, unless it's syncopated, which that's a different rhythm topic. The next measure is eighth notes and quarter notes. So eighth notes are half a beat, whereas half notes are 2 beats. So half a beat is half a quarter note. So there would be 2 eighth notes per quarter note. So there'd be 1 and 2 and 3, 4. That's what that rhythm is. The next measure is 16th notes. Now we have the quarter note broken up into fourths. That's basically what the 16th note is. And there's 4 16th notes in one quarter note. So it's 1 E and a, 2 E and a, and then the last 2 beats I put a rest there. That's a half rest. So there's all different types of rhythms. These are just the intro ones that you could use for beginning composition. The next measure also in 4/4 is the longest note in 4/4, which is the whole note. And those take up the whole measure. One of those takes up the whole measure. And so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 with the accent on 1, each of those. And then the next measure, you've got a little mix of rhythms here. So this is where the counting comes in. And you have to really count it out here. So the first one is a quarter note, followed by a half note, followed by a quarter. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. See, the accent falls on 4 because that's where the quarter note moves to. Also, the next one, there's 2 quarter notes and 1 half note. So the accent would be on 1 and 3 now. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. But the half note would take up beats 3 and 4. And then you've got 2 more whole note measures. That's 1 accent per measure, and the note just holds out all 4 counts. Then we have something unusual, and this was usually found in like different types of early Renaissance music, or even before the Renaissance. This was actually in the Gregorian era. They would use all these different time signatures. So 8/4 is not really used in today's literature, but it is possible. There are composers who use it. And the note that you see in there, we usually call that a double whole note, or a breve. That just means, think of your whole note. That takes 4 counts, right, in 4/4? Well, in 8/4, you would have to have 2 whole notes, or 1 breve, which is 8 counts. Both of those equal 8 counts to take up that whole measure of 8/4. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the accent would be on 1. And then for the last 2 measures, you have what's called dotted rhythms, the beginning of dotted rhythms. Dots basically give the impression of holding a note for half the measured volume of the note that it's modifying. So basically, you would have, in the dotted quarter note, you would actually hold that for a quarter note in an eighth note's time. So you would actually hold it for 1 and 2. That would be your dotted quarter, followed by an eighth note, which is a half a beat, followed by the half note, which is 2. So it would be 1 and 2, 3, be 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So it would be like that. And then the last one be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Notice I put the dotted quarter note in the last one. And that is where you would have the 3 and 4 and. You would actually have the eighth note on 3, and then and 4 and would be the dotted quarter. So that's a little bit about dotted rhythms. So I know this is a lot, but I will have a resource in the resources section that will go into greater detail that will help you with this. In the next video we will talk about the beginnings of melody. Just to be sure, if you do want more on this, I will have the music composition full course in full swing pretty soon, and that will be the course where I will break everything down into even more detail. That way you don't get as lost. But like I said, in the resources section there is a full 2, 3 page, 4 page sheet that deals with this in greater detail as well. So until then, I will see you in the next video. This is Cody here. I'm just doing a little video to say that